Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest human beings ever. Social activist, icon of democracy, but he wouldn't stop laughing when I photographed him. And then I was led away by the police. I made a bunch of mistakes in this shoot, but I think I did get a good shot eventually. So let's get to it. Hi, I'm Adam Knott. Welcome to my channel where I show you my photographic process, the stories behind my photographs, and how you too can use your photography to express your creativity. My one-on-one photo shoot with Nelson Mandela and how it all went wrong. But I still managed to get a good photograph, I think. And then I was taken away by the police. Nelson Mandela had been in prison in South Africa for over 27 years. In 1990 he was released and he went on this world tour to thank all of the countries that had helped him get out of prison and become a free man. This was the time when he came to Australia. The brief. The photographic editor wanted an iconic portrait. And I will never forget the photo editor looking at me and saying, "Adam, I want you to go out and get an iconic portrait of Nelson Mandela, something like the old Life covers." Now, I was only 24 years old at the time, and here's a photograph of what I looked like. I looked very naive and very young. But I was given this incredible opportunity, so I was determined to get a great portrait of the great person. But being young, I didn't really have the skills that I needed, and I still wasn't quite sure of how do you get an iconic portrait of an iconic person, like the old Life covers, which were big setups and which had a lot of time. I was just going to basically a press conference, a meet and greet, and somehow I had to get this incredible portrait. I wasn't sure, but I was determined to get one. So here we go. So here I go for the iconic portrait. So I arrive at the hotel where he was giving his press conference. I arrived 2 hours early. I was young, I was keen. I wanted to get there early to make sure that I could check out the location, see what the lighting's doing. But in actual fact, I was late. The photo editor must have given me the wrong time. So here's me turning up the location to photographing one of the world's great leaders, and I'm late, even though I thought I was 2 hours early. So I get to the room and I looked panicked. I was late and I didn't want to be late. I still don't like being late to things. It's just the way I'm made. I like to be professional, I like to get there early, but I was late. So they let me in and welcomed me and said, "Oh, welcome, come on in." They were very nice about it. I think I looked very panicked and flustered. They could see that I was so upset that I was late. So off I go, and I could see Mr. Mandela in the distance. And it was wonderful seeing him for the first time in this room full of other people in suits. It was like he was glowing. I was really in awe of him. It was incredible. And then this lovely lady in a suit comes up to me and says, "Oh, welcome, thank you for turning up." And I said, "I'm so sorry for being late." And she was like, "Don't worry, you're here now. You know, we've only just started." So I was like, "Oh, phew." She said, "What we need you to do is just get Mr. Mandela walking around the room, saying hello to people, shaking hands, you know, that type of thing." I said, "Okay, great, thank you, thank you." I was expecting to see 50 other photographers there, and there was no one there except me. I walked into this room and I was the only photographer. I thought, wow, this is incredible. I didn't think. I was young and I was naive. I watched him walk around the room. I took some shots. And then I noticed there were these lovely shafts of light coming in through the hotel windows, this lovely late afternoon light. And I thought, oh, when he hits this certain spot, I will get this lovely candid shot of him under this shaft of light. And I thought it would look wonderful. So I waited, and this is an old Cartier-Bresson technique that I'll talk about in other videos. You just wait on a scene and you wait for the people to walk into the scene, and when they get there, to that certain point, you click, and you get this magical moment. So I waited, it only took a few minutes for him to walk into this shaft of light. I clicked at the right time, but I could tell it wasn't a great photograph. I remember thinking, there's nothing iconic about this for me. There's no great shots here, and let's have a look at some of these shots right now. It just looks like a man in a suit. I thought, I haven't done my job. I can't miss out on this opportunity. I've been given a brief and this is my job. So I thought, I've got nothing to lose here. I was a little bit nervous. I was actually really nervous, to be honest. Very rarely do I get nervous when I'm photographing famous people, but I was nervous this time. Because I think we all have so much respect for Nelson Mandela and what he went through and what he achieved in his life. But also what he achieved when he came out of prison. He was so forgiving. He was an incredible human being. So I go into this shoot with all these feelings behind me. And I thought, I've got to say something. I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Mandela." And he turned around and he looked at me and he sort of glared at me and he was very serious. And you can see from this photograph, I kept shooting. Because when you have somebody like him glaring at you, it's quite, it was quite disturbing for me. It was quite disturbing for me. It was quite disturbing. Because when you respect somebody so much and then they're glaring at you, you can tell they're not happy with you. It's not a good feeling. And I was a little bit taken aback. I said, if you could just pose for a couple of photographs, a couple of quick photographs, that's it. And if you could think of something that makes you happy. And then for some reason, he started laughing. I think he was laughing at me or laughing at my youthful enthusiasm, because I think I was very serious myself. And as you can see, I think I've got some lovely photographs of Mr. Mandela. And there's only 2 or 3 photographs. So what you're seeing here today is just 2 or 3 frames. Click, click, click. And that's him, looking off camera, smiling. Because I think everybody was like, what's this young kid doing? Asking one of the world's great leaders to pose for him. So I will be forever grateful to Nelson Mandela for stopping and posing. And I don't know why he did. And for some reason, he found it funny. I think maybe it was my youthful enthusiasm. It was, I don't know, me having the audacity to do that, to ask him to pose. Maybe he liked that. I'm not sure, and I'll never know. And the only words he spoke to me was, "Be quick." And I was. But for some reason, he found the whole situation humorous and funny. And I've always been taken by that. I love that. And I knew I had a really good shot. And then off he went. He went walking around shaking hands again. And so I went to the press conference. That was an hour later. And as you can see, there weren't many good photographs of the press conference, but I felt I had that wonderful, special moment with this incredible human being. And I think he thought it was funny. So I hope you do too. But after I got the shot and I was so pleased with myself, I noticed the room went very quiet. So while Mr. Mandela was off walking and talking to other people, I could tell people started looking at me. And then that lovely lady in the suit, she came up to me and she said, "What are you doing? As the official photographer, we told you that you are supposed to just get these grip and grin shots, these smile, shaking hands shots." And then I suddenly realised I wasn't the official photographer. They thought I was the official photographer. And I wasn't actually late for my shoot, I was early. I had gone to the wrong function room. I had gone early and they thought I was the official photographer. And I think because I was panicked and I was worried and I was flustered, they were like, "Oh, let him in, he's here, at least he's here." And so they let me in. And that's when I realised, I was like, oh no, this is a case of mistaken identity. And I said, listen, I'm not the official photographer, but I can be if you want me to. She said, no, you need to leave. And with that, a policeman arrived and escorted me out of the room. And the police, they didn't arrest me because they said to me, they said, really, Adam, you sort of were invited. They did let you in. You did take photographs. You were doing your job. So we're not going to arrest you, but just be aware in future. Don't enter rooms where you're not really invited, because this was a non-media event. So I went back and I developed the films, because remember, this is 1990. It's the days of film. And I went downstairs and saw the photo editor and presented him with these photographs that you see here today. And he just looked at me and said, these are not iconic. You did not get us a cover. You didn't get us the photograph I asked you for. And he literally threw them down on the desk. And I was just so disappointed. I thought they were good portraits. I thought I captured Mr. Mandela almost like he was like a cheeky little boy, like smiling mischievously. And it was only many decades later I found out that he actually had a great sense of humour. When he first got out of prison, he was jubilant and joyous, but he was very serious, as you would be. But I did find out he actually had a great sense of humour, and I felt I captured a part of that. And because of what that photo editor said to me, I just put those photographs away in a drawer for like 30 years. And I never even told people I photographed Mr. Mandela, because I thought, what if I told people and said, oh yes, I photographed Nelson Mandela, and then I showed them the photographs and they were like, oh, you photographed a great man, but you got these average photographs. I felt embarrassed that I hadn't done a good enough job for the great human being that he was. And it wasn't until I got into my 50s and I started looking at my work again and I thought, this was a really nice portrait of Nelson Mandela. I'm not sure what you think, but please let me know in the comments below. And if you like what you heard today, I'm going to be doing more of these videos, not only of celebrities, but regular people, my photojournalism assignments, my fine artwork, and I'll talk about the stories behind these photographs. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.